again. So I think we're at about the 20th of June 2020, and I thought I'd just do a diary entry to let you know on some interesting things that have been developing in my little awakening of intergalactic beings and telepathic communication. It's pretty strange, and I just thought, like, before it got like really working and happening, that maybe I should just share like the raw and what it's like on this side of it rather than the other side of the experience. So basically, still having loads of dreams and intergalactic beings visiting me, my meditations, they're all different types. They're not always looking the same. Anyway, we were watching a show the other day and some insights into telepathic communication with ETs, extraterrestrials, and basically, it just really resonated with me and it really touched home with me. And it was very strange because the example was given where a man was sitting in New York and in a hotel in the lobby and decided to call in a telepathic communication and open that vibration frequency up inside of his mind and ask for any intergalactic beings to come forth, because what his experience was and what his opinion was of this man that was being interviewed was that intergalactic beings, or ETs, are actually walking amongst us in humanoid bodies. And for me, I've always been a little bit scared about meeting an intergalactic being for the first time in the physical form here on Earth. And it often scared me until the point where I had the meeting with that cool galactic being, and it was just more about having a bit of fun and a bit more positive rather than me being afraid and scared, which I had to go through, that duality of to appreciate the difference on the other side of the experience. So for me to then think, hang on a second, it's not going to be like a different kind of person looking thing, it's actually going to look like a human being. It was kind of like an aha moment. So basically what happened in this story, it was that the man called a telepathic communication out. He waited for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then all of a sudden he had a man come sit next to him on the bench, like a seat apart, and he sat there and he was quite well groomed and had a newspaper, and he turned and flicked every single page of the newspaper, put it to the end, folded it up, put it back in his bag, and sat there, and was kind of odd, the man that was telling the story actually knew there was something going on with this particular person next to him. So he said, he said in his head, he sent a telepathic message to the person next to him saying, well, if this is you, touch your nose with your right pointer finger. And the person next to him went like this. And then he was like gobsmacked. As you are. So off he ran. The guy just got up and walked off straight away. It was like just done and dusted like that. There was a couple of other examples and stories with the similar, send out the telepathic communication of, I'm in this certain spot at this time and I'd love to meet you, kind of thing. And so I just got thinking. I thought, well, if that guy's done it, surely I could do it. I've had all these readings and channeling saying that I'm going to be able to telepathically communicate with intergalactic beings. And I thought, well, maybe they're humanoid beings. Maybe they're galactic beings in a humanoid body. Anyway, reality checks, oh my God, dimensional space, reality, where are we? It's, it's getting a bit, really deep now with this type of stuff, because the normal person couldn't probably handle this whole topic. And you know what, 10 months ago I wouldn't have been able to handle where I'm at the moment. But the reason why I can is because I've worked on myself. I've cleared the negative emotional injuries within my body and the emotions. I've let go of that excess baggage. I've done alpha mastery and set my mind up. And you know, once you've done that and you get your visions, that's the gateway to intergalactic travel and astro traveling and all of this, you know, communication with the higher frequency beings. These beings aren't low frequency. Once you ascend, once you raise your vibration, you're going to be intercepting high vibrational beings because you're protected, you know. You're vibrating so much higher. Anyway, so yesterday or the day before, I said to Peter, I think I'm going to like try this. So what happened was I was at the coffee shop in the morning and I put it out there from 8:30 to 9. I dropped the kids at school, got to the coffee shop about 8:30. I said, right, in my head, I went, all right, 8:30 to 9 o'clock, I'm going to be at the coffee shop. If you want to come and meet me, I would love to meet you. If you know, are there, make yourself known to me and, you know, touch your nose with your right hand. So I get there and there's a lady in front of me, she orders, she goes and stands back, I go up, I order, and I'm looking around at everyone going, wonder who it is. Got no phone on. I'm like really sitting in the moment. You know, we often distracting ourselves and we don't realize what's going on around us. Well, the phone's away. This is just me on a pure level observing people. So I turn around and my sister-in-law's there and I'm like, oh God, okay. Hey, how you going? Have a little chit chat. And I'm thinking, oh no, I'm not going to be able to be looking around for this being, you know. Anyway, she goes and orders. I go and sit down at a bench and I've got like the full peripheral view. I can see everyone. I'm like, yes, I've got the best seat. Anyway, I'm like, no one's coming and I'm looking and then my sister-in-law, I didn't realize she was coming and walking back towards where I was, obviously to have a chat while we waited for our coffee. Next thing you know, there's this lady and she's just wearing normal clothes. She's not outstanding looking. She's just your average mum, probably 30 or maybe 40 years of age. She was standing there and she looked over at me and then she touched her nose and I'm like, and as I went, like my sister-in-law came over and was like, so what's been going on? And like tried to stand in front of her and I'm like looking and the lady pulled her phone out of her pocket straight away, went on the phone, walked to the counter, grabbed a coffee and then she sped off down the road. It was like, wait. And I'm like going in my head, wait, come back if you really want to talk to me. Is that you? Like, and I got like nothing. And my sister-in-law was like, so how you going? And trying to talk to me. And I'm like trying to look around and look at her. It was so funny. I just couldn't believe it. Like she touched her nose. She looked at me and it was like this odd look. Like it was like weird. Anyway, so in the afternoon, the same day, I think, all right, I got to go to Maroochydore. I got to get a new camera for our YouTubing. I'll pick up Zabe, we'll go to the bakery and I'll send out the call again and see what happens. So I go to the bakery, we sit there and I'm looking around, not on my phone. My son's sitting there eating his afternoon tea and I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. I'm like thinking, who could it, like if they're here, you know, where are they? Oh, is it that person? No, that person. And I'm going in my head, touch your nose if it's you, touch your nose if it's you. Anyway, nothing. And so I'm like, oh, well, you know, a bit down. We go back to the car and like where my car's parked, there's a man in a car, like he was like maybe 70s, windows down. And he just had this blank look. He's sitting like this. He just had this blank look. No, nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, is it you? And I get in my car and I'm sitting there. I don't turn the car on purpose. And he's like, I'm like, if it's you, touch your nose. Like this is all in my head. My son has no idea this is happening. I just think it's way too crazy and out there and still so unproven yet, you know. So I'm going to protect him from this and wait until the time's right. If anything does obviously progress and whatever. Anyway, he touches his nose and then goes back like this on the car, you know, inside the car. And I'm like, if it's really you, touch the steering wheel, in my head. And I'm not lying, this is what he did. He looked at me straight, because we're not right in front of each other. He's like one car over, but like got full view. He looks at me, puts his hand on the wheel of the car, steering wheel, and goes back like this. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm like frozen. I'm like, oh my God, did that just happen? Like, and because of course my husband's not there, so I can't like tell him what happened. I can't ring him on the phone because Xavier were here and la la la. And I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. So I turn on the car and I just go home, and I get home and I tell Pete, and it's like, oh, this is just, was that something? Like, and we're questioning, is it like they take over someone's consciousness? You know, are they actually living amongst us? Like, is that what's actually happening? And we have no idea. They just like stay out of trouble, you know, like they hear, but they can disguise inside of humanoids. Like, anyway, I just thought I'd give you an update on what's going on. So we're going to keep trying a little bit more and more to like open this up and see if any other like interactions happen. Like, I'm really just wanting them to come over to me once I know that's them and it's all confirmed. Like, so Pete's like, all right, maybe we need a different signal. Like, maybe you should ask them to put their right hand on their heart, like their palm on their heart. And like, that's a full, like, no one does that. It's like if someone touched their head like twice, that would be clear that it was them. But we thought, no, hand on heart, you know, this journey is all about heart and love and compassion. So why couldn't it be hand on heart if it was them? So watch this space. We're going to go out there, and if the time's right, our vibration needs to be high. So we're feeling good on the day that we're going to do it. We're going to just go and like see if anyone comes, sit around and wait, and just be the observer of the situation. Not on our phone, not on electronics, you know, not with the kids around or like, you know, any of that. We're just going to see if it works. And Pete's so excited now to like start seeing if this works too. So we've got a channeling next week, so I'm going to check in to see if that is actually what it is. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, oh my God, this is such a breakthrough for humanity and me and everyone. So such an exciting time to be on Earth right now. So I'll see if anything else happens. We're still seeing loads of flying objects in the sky at night, like between 5 to 10 every single night. And things are really changing in the world. 2020 is going to be one in history, I think, for humanity and everyone becoming the best versions of themselves. So I love you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.